This wig. Anyways. Let's go. That hair is thirsty, baby. Because it is. It literally is thirsty. I need a new mic setup. Big fan of the brow slit. Thank you. Oh wow, Oscar and Mia on the same mind. True. Hi, Dylan. I tried putting this on backwards and it didn't really work. I don't know why I thought it would work. We're back. The other stream, we literally took the entire stream looking for this outfit. Just so I could be canonically a fairy. I love that you're wearing your natural hair today. Bitch! If this was my natural hair, tell me to brush it. A fairy. Look, the outfit's called the fairy suit. Oh, it's not. That's awkward. Well, the quest was called the quest to be a fairy or something. I'm not crazy. See, fairy clothes. I'm not just saying inappropriate slang for no reason. Guys, No, you are crazy. Okay, can every stream, can we like, just like... This is unrelated to what you said. Every stream, can we just say, hi Capcom creators, please make me a creator, and then we make a collage in like a month, and then we add them everywhere to make me a creator, so it's like 500 streams of me saying it. I think that's a lovely idea. I'm making sleigh nuggets, huh? Capcom creators, you are so... Their, like, wait times are insane. Like, I submitted an application, not even, like... It's, like, partner applications. I'm like, jeez. Hi, Cole. I'm like, which side should I put the hair? It's just a mop. It doesn't even matter. Capcom creators, you are so sexy. Please make me a creator. I want to be one! Like, I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter Rise. I would love to stream it. I'll only do it if I'm a creator. Only! And then, like, the Resident Evil stuff. Hashtag / announcement. Capcom make Nem a creator now! I don't think there's a single game that I don't like by Capcom. And Ace Attorney! They have Ace Attorney! Oh my god. Okay, we have to make this happen. Every stream we have to say it. We should make a command. Should we make a command? Command. This command is so unhinged. Her. So true, me. Capcom, you are so sexy. Make me a Capcom creator, please. Don't make me put a cooldown on it. They are so gender envy. This is half the chat. Y'all be like 5'1". This is you. I did it twice. Calm down. Oh, shut up. Just say my name. Okay, well, there's you, there's Cole, there's Marshall. Safety. Alright, pack it up, Grandpa. Is house music okay? I haven't seen them in ages since after their birthday. Yeah, they're fine. They were here the other stream. You're just not up late. They're usually up late. I was about to say, if you say slash your tires, I'm gonna just be like, haha, joke's on you, I don't have a car. I wish my clip button worked. It doesn't work anymore. Why does it not work? Please. That's someone topping me. I am the Colossus and they are the guy in Shadow of the Colossus. No. Oh, fuck you, not I have a life. Bye. Yeah, I do too. Jeez. Yikes. Chucky cosplay caught me off guard. Do you live? Why is this hair shorter than this side? What did I do? Someone explain that. Also, okay, so since I'm gonna upload these VODs back to YouTube, if you're on YouTube watching this replay, let me continue the conversation from the other day. Remember the conversation from the last stream we had about sleeping in? Yeah, well, let's consider the following. Maybe your partner has a health problem. Maybe that's why they sleep in. I just think that's crazy. I never put two and two together. Consider the following. Hi, Periwinkle. How do I get a stick? Oh, there's a torch over here, isn't there? Where is the torch? I never put two and two together. It was a hypothetical about yourself. It was not a hypothetical about me. I'm saying consider if your partner that is not me had a health condition. How interesting that. How very interesting. What if for the next couple streams I just wore different color wigs? So like red today and the next one I wear... Oh, I don't have an orange wig. I was gonna say let's do Pride. Oh my god, Pride. I have a yellow wig. I have a yellow wig. I have a green wig. I have a dark and light blue wig. I don't have a purple wig. Which is surprising I don't have an orange wig because like Starfire and Poison Ivy are kind of orange. This is my orange. But this is like, it's like red. This wig! I can't. You just gotta fuck it up. How did I do it before? I think I like did that. Like did that. Oh yeah, I did. I can feel the, oh my god, the bobby pin is from in my hair from the last time. That's funny. For orange, you can just wear your natural hair. No, but I see this, it'll show up like red. It will. That's just how it goes. Where are my bobby pins? Fun's over. Oh yeah, that's so much better. Oh my god, wait, I need a bobby pin. Where are the bobby pins? There has to be one here. Did you guys know I almost set my apartment on fire last night? Funny story. Funny how. Okay, that's so much better. Ugh. Bleach it? No. If I bleach my hair, it's gonna be over for me. Well, I've thought about it. Because, like, I really want to, like, get blonde hair extensions, and it could be really pretty. But, I just know it's gonna not look great. No, because, like, if I bleach my hair, it's gonna bleach the curls, and then the curls aren't gonna survive, and then I already know it's gonna be game over. And I'm gonna have a breakdown, and then, yeah. We're looking for a torch. And can this go full screen? Thanks. Penis. There should be one right here. Where is it? Guys, this isn't funny. Who's pulling a prank on me? Why is everything hard? Don't say anything. No hard penises! Ever! My window's open. My strangers probably hear what I say on stream and they're probably like, what is wrong with that child? Not even child, like what is wrong with that adult? You're an adult screaming about dicks every night on your stream. And what about it? Get away from me. I'm looking for a torch. I swear to God, if I can't find a fucking torch, I'm gonna start breaking shit. The auto mod. I got you good. Is that a Jenga block? Oh my God, who wants to say hi to the gay guy? There's a gay guy over here. Everybody say hi to the gays. Where are they? Where are the gays? Hi, gay.
Yeah.
Last day of Pride, let's say hi to the gays. Oh. He's not here up. He's not here, actually. He said, I'm out. Bye. Yes, but you don't have red hair. You're not naturally ginger, and you're not Jewish. So, the curls are different. Oh, we're yelling. Because I literally have told you that before, and every time you're like, well, mine's better. Oh. Oh my God. Ew. Okay. Does literally anybody have a torch? I just need a stick. Oh, my body. Oh, my body just... My body just hurt really bad. Can I cut this branch? I hate my life. Oh. Can we go see a great fairy? I want to go see the MILF. I want to see the MILFs. I want to see the MILFs. Show me the MILFs. Yep, there's meats. Can I use this pitchfork? I don't think this is gonna work, but we can try. There are meefs in this game. Big meefs. Big, beautiful meefs. Voluptuous meefs. I'm gonna shit. I like literally don't know where to go to get a torch. I guess we're just gonna adventure then and not do the main story because this game hates me. Until I find something I can set on fi- Is a blood moon rising? Please no. I can't. I don't have the brain power for that right now. Let's find a little guy. Where's the little guy? Let's go over there. Why not? Maybe over there we'll have a torch. Oh, I can't even do the divine beasts yet. Are they not awakened? They're not. I didn't know that. That's crazy. Hi, Epi. Am I pronouncing that right? Or does it have like a... That was literally so nasty. Wow. Alright. How do we recover from that? That was so disrespectful to me and my family. That threw me off. I don't know where to go from here. I'm mad as hell. Stupid Moblin. Yeah, you got it. I was gonna make a joke, but then I got literally slaughtered in this video game, so there goes that. But hi. Thanks for coming to the stream. How was your stream the other day? I was lurking. I'm a lurker. I feel so awkward like talking in chats. Especially with my partner badge now. Like, trust me, I'm not saying I don't like being partner, but like literally my partner badge is like, hey, look at me! Hey! I'm like, oh my god, please, I'm so shy, like I can't. Hello, House Music. Oscar was just asking where you were. Oscar was worried. Oscar said, where is House Music? And I said, House Music is nocturnal. They are up very late. You love attention. I do, but like not in like places that I'm not... Like, I don't just go to, I don't know, the club out of drag, and I'm like, hey guys, like by myself, like, hey guys. I sit at home and play video games. But I do love attention, so true. Hi, Dynamite Sky, how are you doing? Are you excited for Money in the Bank this weekend? I'm not streaming on Saturday. I am dedicating my entire Saturday to that. I might record something though, like my live reactions, but I haven't decided yet because that would mean I'm in drag 3 days in a row, and then I haven't decided. Like, am I quitting my job? Oh, we're back here. How lovely. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Anybody that wants G Fuel products, by the way, you can use my code at checkout. I think it's boosted right now. It's 30% off. My stream was great. Nice to hang out with everyone, but it drained me, so I canceled my stream tonight. Totally understand that. Like, I wasn't gonna stream today, but I was already in drag, and oh, I was worried that because I can't stream this game tomorrow, and I just wanted to get some hours in on this game. Yeah, you should be sorry for interrupting me and passing gas in my presence. Ugh. Ugh. No, I get it, but I'm sure it does attract a bit of attention having that. I think there's a way you can actually go into stream and turn off your partner badge. Oh wait, yeah, you're right. I'm not blonde right now, but I am a bimbo. Big booby lady. That's what I call deer. I call her booby lady. Hi, booby lady. I'm not sorry for farting. So true. You better shit with that ass, bestie. I don't know why I did that. I'm a horrible person. Oh, my arch nemesis. She said then... It happened again. Why did I let that happen again? Why did I let that happen again? Why did I do that again? All right. I can't. I can never win. What's your favorite G Fuel flavor? I always say pink drip, but I haven't tried this one. I want to try this one. Green lemonade. I might try. There's this gay one up here. It's not like actually gay, but I want to try it. There's a lot that I haven't tried. It's rainbow sherbet. Why haven't I tried this? I should have tried this for Pride Month. But my favorite is pink drip by far. It's the one I think it's one of the only ones that I've opened. But I have a bunch of flavors right here. 40 servings in each tub, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them. So 12 times 40. What's 12 times 4 is 12 times 4 is 48. 48. So I have 480 cups. Guys, I just did math. My mind. Sorry. Not redacted, Charles. I can't. Have you seen... Speaking of redacted, Charles, have y'all seen the TikToks of people going, get ready for my 31st birthday dinner, or whatever it is, 23rd. Get ready for my 23rd birthday dinner. I can't. People are like mimicking him. It's so funny. Nem doesn't wear blonde for one day and becomes a math genius, please. Are you watching Trixie Moto? It's actually so good. I can't do another subscription service. I have Paramount for Survivor and All Stars. I have HBO Max for comic nerd stuff. And then I have Spotify. And then my internet bill. That auto pays like a subscription, so I have plenty of subscriptions. I don't need another. And then I have WoW Plus. That's kind of why I'm streaming house music, is because I was like, if I stream, I'm gonna be up all night. If I don't, I'm gonna take a nap and wake up at like, fuck ass. What? I don't know. I just wanted to say a swear. A swear? Not the swear mixed with slur. A swear. A swear. I'm about to swear. I'm so... This wig is literally a mop. Do you see this? You have 2 gay pirate stands. I love Asa, but please don't show up right now. Asa's about to walk in and be like, hey, gay pirate stands. Literally, that show is so cute and amazing. Let me get a good view of this hole. Someone gate me like this. Sorry, I posted that on my close friend story already. Oh, reused joke, wow. Recycled material, Nem. Am I allowed to say that? Am I allowed to say, can someone gate me like this giant hole in the earth? Well. Demonetized on YouTube right now. I thought I hit a button. Actually, no, don't watch it, but because if you don't like it, I'll never look at you the same. Okay. So you believe in the 2 genders? Wow. Wow, Mia. Wow. Ally! Whoa, I'm having deja vu. Please don't. Have you seen that video of Michelle Visage? Hey boo! And then it's literally a boo from Mario, and the boo goes. I love that video so much. Okay, this is so embarrassing, but the promo images I shot earlier and all of the promo images for this campaign I'm doing, I shot, and you could, if I don't crop the image, I'm literally sitting there in a jockstrap. That is so embarrassing. What if I just sent that to my agent and I was like, don't look down there.
Oh, hey, boo.
She is so... Oh, hey, boo. Alright, I've literally been wandering this entire stream. I'm glad this game is just head empty. Like, I don't need to use my brain cells. I almost retweeted, oh, hey, boo, but none of my Oomfianas are Mario stands. Thank you, I was gonna approve that. Also, my favorite thing on the internet is Michelle saying, do you like gay shit? Hey, you like gay shit? Next time she does an outro, I hope she's like, hey, you stupid! Do you want to see some more gay porn? Or something horrible. Just even more violent. Well, if I wasn't demonetized now, before, I definitely am now. Swir. I can't believe I said I slurred the swir. Oh, it's raining. Fun's over. Guys, literally, where is there a torch? Well, it doesn't matter now. Well, it's over. Frog! You're mine! Gay shit and finger in the butt. So true. You act like that's anything other than what you've added before. Like, that's just normal here. Guys, I really need to find a torch so I can progress the fucking star. Oh! I thought this was one. I'm gonna spingle. Oh, here's my horse just parked at the entrance. Hey, girl. Oh, hey, boo. So true. Because I know Mia's gay. Haha, gay. Please. No, she should. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna kill this guy. And then we're gonna take this. And then we're gonna take this. Alright. Is this person okay? You alright? Oh. I was just gonna leave you to die. If I'm honest. You're not gonna give me anything for saving your life? That Bob? You don't need to give me everything. You don't need to give me anything. That Bob says enough. Hi, Jacob. 13 months. Not saying I want you to subscribe to me every month, but I wish it was like, it would have counted for like how long you've been here, or how long we've been besties. Because it's definitely longer than 13 months. But thank you for resubscribing. How you doing? Y'all ready to see Millie Bobby Brown's? Oh, is that Stranger Things? Is that what's happening tomorrow? Oh, Jesus. Muting Stranger Things on Twitter. I haven't even seen the first season. I haven't even seen a single episode of Stranger Things. Where's my gasp? Where's my gasp? Let me say that again. Hold on. I haven't even seen a single episode of Stranger Things. Well, we need it to stop raining. I do a rain dance. The last episode being 2.5 hours long. I can't. I'm not watching that. I don't think okay. I'm gonna be very honest. Like, Stranger Things fans love you. I hope you have a great time watching your show. But I don't think there's a single thing I would commit to that every episode is like almost 2 hours long. And then the finale is 2.5 hours long. I don't think there's a single thing I would watch that does that. So there's no way I'm watching Stranger Things. I'm so sorry. Hey, it stopped raining. My plan worked. I can barely even watch Drag Race. Literally. It's usually 50 to an hour. Okay, only if they're... I would only watch Stranger Things if... Yeah. I spilled. Thank you. Who the fuck is Eddie? They don't know who Eddie is either. So true. I said, fuck Eddie. I knew that was gonna happen, so I prepared for this. Not hi, Wendy. Am I Wendy? You will watch if they sponsor you? Literally, actually, yeah. What are they gonna do? Is Eddie like a hot, like, himbo character? Is that why everybody's like standing and not doing the SIMP-ing? I would never say that on the stream. I would never say such horrible things. No, he's weird and gross. Okay, but like... The gays will stand anything. Like, y'all loved Jacob from the Corey. Is that his name? The himbo guy? Like, he literally, like, is on the edge of a misogynist. And he's, like, annoying and cringe. Like, guys. On the cusp. Jail time for you all. Did I say hi, Bev? I thought I said hi. If he didn't speak. No, exactly. He just needs to not speak. Shush. Shh. Who's Jacob? You can go find out if you go watch my YouTube video, a 9-hour stream of me playing the Corey every chapter. Now available on YouTube. I agree, Bev. I agree. Unless they're praising trans women and trans people and non-binary people, then they can speak. Then you get to speak, men! Sorry. I love Stranger Things, but the fans need to stop. Oh. I don't know about that. I really cannot even comment Periwinkle. I have no idea anything about that. I haven't even seen an episode. Oh, how did we talk? Who started the Stranger Things discussion? Guys, I don't like this. I don't know what we're talking about. Guys. I am lost. This isn't gonna be like a Squid Games thing. Like, no, everybody's not gonna keep talking about it and then I have no idea, so I watch it. Enough. But that was worth it. Squid Games was worth it. I won't be shamed into watching Stranger Things like I was shamed into watching My Little Pony when I was little. I remember everybody around me watched My Little Pony. I had no idea what was happening, so I watched the entire fucking show. It was horrible. Was I really determined to not watch it? I don't remember that. That's a different me. That's a different era. Have you seen that meme that's like me when I'm a different person in my new era? Yeah. That's so me. Oh my god, yeah, it's so good. You should watch it before they do something else with it. Well, they're gonna ruin it because nobody in America understands the point of Squid Game. And they're commercializing it. And Americanizing it. It's horrible. It's horrible. So watch it while it's the original season. We can use this.
Hi.
Oh, yeah, I do actually, Grandma. Sorry. Not me swinging a ladle at that poor old lady. What is wrong with me? You are so violent. Yeah. Oh! There was a hair in my mouth, but it was connected to my wig. Oh, I love Dragula. I want to see Drag Race Season 15. I don't. Actually, I do. I want to watch for two of my, well, 3 mutuals I have. I don't want to watch for the white twinks. I'm done. Do we need more white twinks on TV? No. Remember when Marshy revealed that he hadn't seen Dragula? Yeah, that was very dark. That was a very scary time in my life. Thinking about Dolly? Of course you would. Another day. If this thing burns out before I get to the top, I'm going to get so violent. God will be afraid of me. That's right. Thinking about when, you know, and then sent me, you know, and then Mia decided to air that on a stream one time without my consent. And then, you know, everybody found out. See, we're different from who we were before, Mia. We're different. We are different from who we were before in our old eras. It is human to grow. Well, you do grow. In height. Or other ways. This mechanic is stupid. Did anybody ever do this? BKB, thank you so much for 9 months. Thank you so much for resubscribing. Enjoy your ad-free viewing. Can we get some hype in chat? Thank you so much. It's the redemption arc for me. I have the power of God and anime on my side. So true. Am I gonna get a cutscene? Can I do the Divine Beast now? I'm tired. I actually am not. But I mean, I hate the prologue of any video game. Ooh, Bev, embarrassing. That's not Nemesis 45 anymore. Ooh, embarrassing. Ooh, it was really bad for you.
Hi. Oh.
Why hasn't Nintendo added a trophy system? Because it's a stupid fucking thing across any platform. Nobody fucking cares. Sorry, that was harsh. Nope, I hated this, but I want to play it again 100%. Oh my god, you did? Jesus. Well, no, like, in reality, does anybody really care about that shit? Like... So true. I like when he, hims, and twinks, and he, theys, and they, thems that are twinks admit that they are powerless to beautiful trans femme people. You are nothing. You are underneath me. You are powerless. Pathetic. I'm sorry. No, you're not. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's a bit. It's a bit. It's a bit. Listen, I know there's a lot of people out there that want me to literally end their lives and destroy them, so I'm just fulfilling that fantasy for some people. Cole included. No, it's true. I know. Oh! Y'all see something? I gotta go. You should message Dolly. Funny you mentioned that. Do you want to mention something else that you weren't supposed to talk about? Like you did a couple eras ago? Let's watch the moon. What are we talking about? I don't even know. Like, who am I? How do you make him pose? Nope. Come on! You stupid twink! I can't. Oh my god. Please just pose in front of the blood moon. Oh my g- Please! What is the fucking button? I'm gonna shit my pants. Oh, how beautiful. Hi, Marshy. Marshy, I was just talking about how
Be on your guard.
people that
Ganon's power.
fantasize about
It rises
me
to
ending
its
their
peak
lives and
under the
emptying their
eye of
wallets.
the blood moon. By its
So I thought you
light,
could relate to that.
aimless spirits of monsters slain in the
Very
night
interesting you decided to walk in on that conversation.
return to flesh. Link, please be careful.
Kevin, thank you so much for the follow. Sorry, I missed chat because I was trying to get a selfie of Link. That's never gonna happen, I guess, because fuck my drag. Anyways. Not you having another shift. Jesus Christ. Oh, I don't have to do this anymore. I can just do the Divine Beast. We won! We won! Give it up, girls! That's a quote from, very good movie, Scooby-Doo in the 2002, 3, 4. Very good movie. Not bad movie. Very well written. You just can't say Arvo and me take you seriously. Wow. The way he landed and drowned, Jesus. Well, damn. Yeah, I'm supposed to have a shift on Sunday with someone that's really fucking annoying, and I don't want to go. So I'm considering not going. Because I'm just a girl boss, and life is my oyster. And sometimes that oyster gets fried and is laid on a plate and served and eaten and slayed. Very good analogy. Very good. What is going on? It's okay, it's okay, honey. Just take another hit, and it'll feel like normal. So are we Sidon fans, or are we Rivali stans? Who do we want to ruin our lives? Okay, I'm not endorsing you smoke a blunt at work. Let's calm down. The hashtag smoke it. What are they gonna? I don't know. I don't know. If I get pushed off this fucking structure again, oh, it will be. You know what? Actually, oh wait, it doesn't matter because he'll get revived by the blood moon. So the soup ladle is damaged. What are we gonna do? Oh, get fucked. Wait, I need the pieces. No, the soup ladle broke. Oh, it's over for me. Rip soup ladle. The end of an era. It's like those TikTokers that do when they stitch a video when they're like, some idiot is like, oh, these two people unfollowed each other, and then the duet's like, no! Those crack me up. Oh, we need fire for this one. Well, we don't. Well, I could. Hold on. Nope, I can't, so I'm screwed. Ruh-roh. Oh. You think I can make this? There's no way. Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, you're supposed to use fire. Is that a fire right there? Oh, it is. No, it's not. Goodbye. Well, why isn't the fire started? Oh, work. Yes, fire the gas grenade. Ow. Can I? 2 seconds, Jesus. Burn it down! Haha, Seth Rollins. Seth freaking Rollins! Seth freaking Rollins! Oh. Hi, Tony. Oh. Whee! If I get caught on fire, I swear. You better back it up a little bit. Thank you! I had to film something earlier, and I was covered in blood, I had red hair on, and I was like, okay, well, the only other costume I probably can do is Chucky, so... And I did. And that's where we are today. Are you kidding me? Oh! That was so... That was scary. Oh. Question for the culture. What is the question? Please be appropriate. I beg. Reach for the sky! I usually fill up every area first before going to the Divine Beasts. So I'd like to do that again. For the most part, at least. At least the towers, because it's easier to travel around. Ah! But I was at GCX and I thought I saw you chilling by the bar by the pool. I think on Thursday or Friday. I was gonna say hey, but I wasn't sure. Yes. Actually, we were talking about it literally yesterday or the stream before. I literally was talking about how nobody recognizes me out of drag. So I have like no power out of drag. So I was chilling by the pool Thursday and Friday, actually. I did a Instagram live adventuring through GCX in the hotel. And then I chilled by the pool Thursday or Friday. I don't really remember. But yes, that was me. But I was in drag on Saturday and Sunday. What was GCX days? It was Saturday and Sunday. No, it was me. That's so funny you mention it though, because we were literally just talking about it. I was like, I have such a like power because I can literally like go in disguise by like just not being in drag, so nobody notices me. Like, okay, so I was in drag Saturday and Sunday. I wasn't in drag. Okay, so you probably saw me on Thursday because I flew in on Wednesday. I got in late. Then on Thursday, I got drunk at the pool. And then Friday, I went to Universal. But you should have said something! Yeah, a lot of people flew in on Friday. Because it wasn't until Saturday. But, like, GCX was, like, really generous in getting me there because I was in 2 panels. And I was like, I really want to go to Disney. Can I please go to Disney? Like, I will do whatever you need me to do before the event. And they were just, like, really nice. Like, I'm excited for next year. I hope I can be invited back. I hope I can be on a panel. I thought I brought up some really good points on the panels. I thought I did really good on the panels. And I thought I showed out. I still have to edit my vlog of it. Like, me and Marisol filmed some cute stuff. But there wasn't really a lot of, like, stuff to do there. But because, like, we were going to do an escape room. But they wouldn't let us film in the escape room, which sucked. Because I was like, that would have been so cool to record. And, like, been in drag to do, but they wouldn't let us record it. It's like, that ruins the escape room, I guess, or whatever. It's like, I can blur it. Can I do something? I want to record it. I'm trying to decide where I want to go first. I want to kind of go to the Gerudo area. Kinda. I'm not really sure. I didn't do much during the event. We were working the whole time. No! That makes me so sad. I would have gotten a drink or something, or literally anything. I think the first day me and Marisol were pretty worn out. We got up really early and then we just like slept in the hotel room. But we didn't really like do a lot until the last day of GCX. So like now we know what to do for next year. We know the spots, we know what to do. I guess it kind of depends on what item I want to get first. Rivali's Gale is really good. Urabosa's isn't really good. No, it's Mifa's that's not really good because it's the second life, but Urabosa's is the Thunder, which is really good. Darunia's is the Shield. Rivali's is Traveling. Well, thank you for working the event and doing a great job. It was an amazing event. I had a blast. I had more fun at GCX than I did at PAX. That's tea. Should we vote? Should we do like a poll? I went Meta PC, so we had promotional stuff all weekend to do. Yeah, I saw that y'all were there. Meta PC was there, but I couldn't find like where at. Cause like I wanted to like say hi, cause like obviously I'm mutuals with Meta PC. And like all of them. And like all of some of the team members too. But I like couldn't find anyone. And I didn't want to like DM or message, or I didn't even know how to contact. I was like, oh, well. Next time. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm hoping next time they do more of the panels on the main stage. That'd be really cute. Ugh. Okay. Let me find my center. Where is a great fairy? Because I want to see a great fairy. I want to see a MILF. My problem with doing Urbosa first is in her domain, it has the hardest boss. It has the hardest Blight Ganon. And it also has pretty hard, everything there is annoying. I think we're gonna make our way to Rivali. Do you have to go in order? I don't think you have to go in order. But I know there's two near Kakariko. There's one in the mountains, and then there's one hidden in the sandstorm. Yeah, every time I play this game, I never finish it. I mean, I could technically finish it now. But... like, we went to the temple. We went there, and I fought to get the Hylian shield. And I did it with no items. Because I'm just a good gamer. I'm a god gamer. It's just the one. Oh, yeah. Totally. I mean, usually, I think everybody usually goes here first. I'm not going to. Let's adventure that way, though. Oh, shut up. Not this place. I'm thinking about utility, and to fill out the map, we're gonna need Rivali's Gale. And it's just a lot easier to get around. Especially when you're running from guys like this. Can you get a job? Oh my Jesus. I didn't know you played this game, Marshy. Hi, Kitten. Happy to see you. Hi, Ernesto. Hi, Safety. No, not the torch! Why is it your Jesus and not our Jesus? Because I am just a beautiful creature on this earth and I deserve everything. And I'm better than you. So true. Huh. Oh, that's where there's a great ferry over there. So there's a great ferry over here. This is also where the dragons start spawning. Is over here. We have to stay on track though. Yeah, haha, gay. Ferry, haha, haha, haha. I'm playing with like the assisted motion controls or whatever it is. You know, like when you aim or whatever. I'm playing with the pro controller, so it's like built in or whatever. I'm not gonna make this. Big L. I'm using tilt controls. I know, same. I guess we're going the long way. Well, because this was made on the Wii, wasn't it? Or the Wii U. So, like, I don't think they would... Maybe they won't do these in the new game. Oh, there is? I didn't even know that. It's me being a bimbo again. What the heck? Oh, not this bridge. I'm gonna die. Hello, boys. Okay. Alright, fun's over. Alright, fun's over. Alright, fun's over. Okay. Ooh, I do the Matrix, I do the Matrix, I do the Matrix. Ah! I did well. Arson pigs. Oh, speaking of arson, I'm supposed to do something with Arson Nikki this month. Well, it's not July yet, but... I'm excited for that. Please don't kill me. I'm nice! No need to murder me. Haha. Is it in Australia? What is? My thing with Arseniki? No, it's on... Okay. I mean, good one, Marshall. Aha! It is in Australia. You're Australian now. Oh. True. True that, Marshall. You spilled. You better slay the house, Truth Tea, Marshy bestie. Yes, God, mama. Hashtag jolt. True. spill. Oh, is this one the Poopy Lake? I think this is the Poopy Lake one. Oh. Yes. I want to go on a season of Survivor. Guys, can we make that happen? I want to go on for like 3 days and quit. I want that fantasy. I want it televised. I want it on film. I want to go in drag and I compete until my makeup falls off. And then I get hungry and I quit. And then I suck Jeff Probst off. So true. I love that you think you would make it 3 days. I would. I literally want to go on to prove you all wrong that I wouldn't even do. I'd be like, can I sit out every challenge? I'm just here to prove everybody on the internet that I could survive. I literally would too. You can eat your words. Eat your words. The only thing I don't think I could do on Survivor is swimming challenges because I can't swim. So like if we could just like, if we could do Survivor in the desert, that'd be nice. All right. Fun's over. I tried out for reality TV when I was younger. I did. I auditioned for Fetch with Ruff Ruffman. The rumors are true. I was in the cast list for Fetch with Ruff Ruffman. It's true. Add reality TV to my checklist, sweetie. Okay. Oh. Run, Link, run. What the fuck was that? What the? Okay. Fun's over. I want to meet the demon horse lady. She's camp. Where's my tissue? Oh, here it is. Thank God. Was worried. What's that? Slay. This wig looks like I got struck by lightning. It's like thunder and lightning. The way you turn me running, you better knock knock on wood. Name that lip sync. What lip sync is that? I know the answer. Do you? If I'm sneezing into a dirty gym sock filled with... Nope. Nobody knows the lip sync? Wow, fake Drag Race stands. I know it. Some of us are just better than others. The lip sync that goes, it's like thunder and lightning. You better knock, knock on wood. Slow motion. Whoosh. Whip crack. Whoosh. Ponytail. Whoosh. Thank you. And you're correct. Ding, ding, ding. I don't have a ding noise. Wait, I do. What the fuck? So much just happened. Oh my god, I'm being attacked by bats. Please. Get a job. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about shrines. We haven't seen them in a while. Oh, I'm good. Oh, dragon! Our first dragon spotting. A dragon! Dragon tails, dragon tails. There's 3 dragons. There's one that's, you have to go save for it to start flying around. Then there's a fire one and there's a thunder one. The fire one roams this region. The thunder one roams oh, here it is. This is probably not smart at all, but I'm doing it. Oh! Fuck me in the ass. How far are you? You just have to go to the region. Did you know it also has sand shark monsters? If you go into a certain part of the desert, there's like a giant boss sand shark thing that'll eat you alive and kill you in one hit. Ooh, we're far back. What the fuck? There's also a black market salesman guy, and he's like a skeleton scary guy, and he'll sell you like, you sell all your monster parts to him and he'll give you credit to buy a secret costume. Have y'all really never known about the dragons? That was like the most intriguing thing to me ever. Oh, there he goes. Bye, bestie. Oh, wait, no, he's coming this way. After him! I want the star piece. Anytime you see one, you're supposed to shoot it. Because you can get, like, money off of him. You sell him for money. Happy big bosoms of the wild. It wants me to go over there, but I want to get the dragon. Go, Link, go! Did I return? What? You returned it to the library? Huh? Damn it. Oh, I got it. Well. Look what I did. Now we're in the depths of fucking hell. How am I gonna get out of here? Shut up. Wait till you see the Zonai. What's that? What is above me right now? Oh, also, as soon as you get your star piece off of him, he goes away. He, like, runs away. Can I okay. Oh, shut up. When I first played the game, I kind of got confused, got lost, gave up, but years later my brother taught me how to play and it guided me and I had a blast. I guess that's true, because I kind of know what I'm... Like, I've played this before, so I know the ropes. I also played with, like, a guide handy when I played my first playthrough. Guys, like, actually, how am I gonna get out of here? I'm literally in a ravine. Like, and there's, like, dead bodies, there's skulls, there's dead people down here. I'm never gonna get out. Slow King. Oh, enjoy your stay here. We love Slow King here so much. Yeah, I mean, there's not really anything to do at the end boss. Like, you do the end boss, and then it just brings you back before the end boss, so there's no real reason to do that. You know. Great. Wrong Romeo, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. We're gonna die down here. We're gonna die. There's no way up. This is how I would die. I would just be like wandering. This is like that one movie with the guy that gets stuck in a rock. He has to cut his arm off. Y'all know the one. Is there civilization down here? Oh, the golf mini game's down here. I'm great at golf. Guys, please. All right. Perfect. Wait. Not perfect. Now the dragon's not here. But you know what is here? Me dragging my balls across your face. Oh! Sorry. Sorry. Enough. Get off my back. I think last time we played this on stream, I got to this boss and then we started talking about how if Rivali is a sexy bird man, doesn't he have a spiral penis? Because birds have spiral penises. What? I'm right. He better. Makes things interesting. Now you're a birdie? No! I'm just saying! Hi, Necro. Linkle and Chucky co-streams. So true. I remember the mods on the Wii U making Linkle, and I wanted them so bad. Not righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, you know what I'm saying. You are so... And they say I'm bad. I'm bad. I start playing Carmela's theme song. I'm bad. What's under there? What's under where? You are horrible! How did I fall for that? I'm literally gonna D-word. Oh my god. I hate my life. I don't know how that got me. Please don't look at me. I'm literally so embarrassed. Wow. My face hurts because I'm smiling too much. I hate that so much. I literally hate your guts. What were we talking about before that? Guys, I feel like I can't do anything without Rivali's Gale. This game is so... Well. Yas. Fire the Yas grenade. Yas. Need I remind chat that we have a new command? Oh my god. True. Oh, you got it. You got it, Link. You got it. Oh, don't fall. Stop. I'll never let Ava forget it. And Marshall too. Marshall fell for it. No! God, I hate men. God, I hate men. Get away! Know your place! Not surprising. That's why I'm more into guys in their 30s. Ugh, this hair. This hair is so... Like, this wig, I can't. I mean, it's not a wig. It's not. Oh, are you serious to me? Am I gonna freeze to death? I just might. Not the wolf pack. Okay, well, I need your food, so... You will suffer the consequences. Oh, gotcha. Can I wear something that'll make me warm? Is there anything that can make me warm? Is he wearing shoes in this? Oh, he is. I was like, why are your shoes off? Literally nothing will make Link warmer. Am I gonna make it? I'm not certain we will. Season 8 will curl your hair. I want to let everybody know this is unrelated to Season 8, but also, like, ever since I got back from Florida, there has been a jar of poppers just sitting on my desk. Every day it has not left the spot that I put it. Just sitting there. Courtesy of Marisol. My desk poppers. Me and who? When she has poppers on her desk. Heart eyes emoji. Oh, and we need fire arrows for up there. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh, Raggy. Were you expecting it to get somewhere else on its own? No, Mia, I never said that. So watch it. Watch me. Oh! Oh, get owned. I love Liv Morgan, but I can't take her seriously when she literally says watch me and then loses every match she's in. Oh, work, wait. There's a lady in danger and I'm like, yeah, I need to go. I'm so sorry. Haha, loser. Wait, can you give me fire arrows? Oh, shut up! Oh, bye. You're bye. I don't have time for this nonsense. I'm gonna be very honest. Like, I think AEW's, like, cool and all, but, like, they really don't book their women well, either. I just don't understand why people are like, Nem, you need to watch AEW. Like, they are so different from WWE. I'm like, they're really not. Like, they're really not. They, like, want to, like, boast about that they're, like, better than WWE or whatever. I'm like, you're really not. I wonder if this is gonna work. I'm gonna try starting a fire right here. Hebrew Tower! So true. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher knisanu b'mitzvotah. Sorry. I just cursed you all in Hebrew. This is one way to do it. Fire the Yas grenade. I thought you were talking about Animal Crossing. How dare you? I wish, like, Hebrew, like, you could actually, like, speak. I mean, you probably could. I never learned it. It's just prayers. But I wish, like, they taught us, like, how to, like, actually do stuff in Hebrew. It's like, I did Hebrew school up to graduation, and we didn't learn shit. But I dropped out right before my bar mitzvah. Slay moment! You already cursed me earlier. So true. You're gonna die in 7 days. They've treated Tony and Ruby pretty well. Yeah, but do you see their champion right now, Thunder Rosa? Poor girl's gotten like 5 seconds of airtime. I can't. She's the champ. Come on. Freak. Okay. Yeah, I'm a freak. Haha, freak in the sheets. Haha, get it? I'm surprised she didn't lose, because she's been booked so badly. I thought she was gonna lose her title. I mean, not to be mean, she probably should have. Okay, we're not gonna die. We're fine. What does TBS stand for? Every time I see that, I'm like, oh my god, I love Sesame Street. What does that mean? Nem, did you watch Glee? No. Never in my life. And I never will. I literally never will. If I'm gonna watch anything, it's gonna be that one performance of Jane Lynch doing super bass. That's it. That's all I need. Well, we're gonna die, folks. Karma's got its kiss for me. Do I, like, literally have nothing I can use? Link, please. You got it. Is this a hot spring? Can't kill me if I'm in the water. Well, okay. The way he died on impact, like, damn. Okay, shit. Yes, they revived me with more hearts. We won. Can I ask a question to the chat? When was the last time you put on deodorant? Just asking. That's not meant to be rude, I just am wondering. Like 1 PM want some? Yeah, actually. Link, don't die, please. Okay, he's alive. Guys, he's alive. Oh shit, he's on life support. I can't.
Hey, Stinky!
Little guy. Little guy spotted. There's 900 little guys in this game. Can you believe? Does that make it so? Oh, cause sweat. How do I get? Where's a rock? I'm putting a rock in this one. Hello? Hello? Where do you get a rock for this? I think it just wants me to dive in. Link! It was 5 centimeters high. It was not that much to get a game over. Come on. I think you just dive in. I don't think it wants you to throw a rock. How did I miss? What is wrong with me? Oh my god. I'd like to see you make that jump on Survivor. I could! I'm literally gonna get casted. I'm gonna make an audition tape, and I'm literally gonna put this in it and be like, please cast me so I can prove this person in my chat room wrong that I would do great on Survivor. Please just cast me for 3 days. See? There we go. Little guy. Why did you do Link like that? You should not be watching this stream because I am so bad at this game. I feel so bad for Link. He's been through so much. I put him through so much heartbreak. When they do a live adaptation of Total Drama Island and they cast me as Lindsay, what then? Wait, I'd kind of eat that roll up. Maybe I should do acting. Just kidding. I can't remember literally any words, so if you're only casted for 3 days, you're not doing well. I would literally get the screen time. I think it would be so fucking funny if I went on the show in drag and then, like, I'm out. Like, first out. And then, like, my lash is, like, off. Like, I don't do well in the challenge. Like, it would be great TV. It would be great TV. Well, they don't even get to have mirrors. Honestly, like, I want to do it. Ugh, I just want to do it to see, like, I want to test myself. I'm such a stupid stan. Like, I probably am never going to do this in my life, but, like, isn't it, like, cool to kind of imagine that? Like, I don't know. I want to just see how I would do. Like, actually, if I was tested. Like, if I would do well, if I would go home first. Like, what the tea would be. And that you're in for... Is that on CBS? I only know it on... Is it a Paramount Plus exclusive now, like All Stars is? I don't think there's been a gay winner. Yeah, I don't think there's been a gay winner. They just had their second black winner of all time. Like, literally this year. Like, that's saying something. And on the newest season, it was a very... I loved hearing from Marianne and Drea, their two contestants that were on the most recent season, about how the experience of watching Survivor and, like, being on the show, like, all the white people just vote out any person of color ever. And they were speaking on it and being like, this is horrible, like, y'all fucking suck. And I was like, period. Like, literally, I can't stand that was like... Because you could tell, if you watch season 42 and you listen to that conversation, that beautiful conversation they had, and then you rewatch the older seasons, you can tell there is just literal, like, underlying racism in the earlier seasons. Not even. Sometimes there's even blatant racism. It's horrible. And there's homophobia, there's transphobia, like, there's so much misogyny. It's such a product of its time back in the day, because there are so many bad things that are said. It's so bad. That's my rant. I've been watching a lot of Survivor. Is it obvious? I can't. You mean the trans person? I don't think that person was transphobic. Yeah, that was really bad. I'm glad Jeff, the host of the show, was like, yeah, you need to go. Also, the way, oh my god, I haven't been able to talk about this on stream, but I definitely have tweeted about it. I cannot believe, oh, I'm getting hot. I'm getting hot. That was Zeke's second season of the show. Never never talked about him being trans because he didn't want to air. Like, he just wanted to be a contestant of the show, which I respect, like, period. Like, sometimes, like, people that are trans don't want to be labeled as the token trans person. But it made me so mad. It was his second season, and he had never discussed, like, anything like that. And then this guy literally went out of his way to label trans people as deceptive. And then he was like, I am gay, like, I'm in the LGBT community, like, I support trans people. He verbatim says, I fight for the rights of people of LGBT people in North Carolina. Where? Huh? Yes, he was gay. And he did that shit. And he was like, I advocate for the rights of trans people in North Carolina. Girl, digging your own grave. Like, bye. And then after the fact, after he exposed the person for being trans, like, literally outing them on TV, he literally says, oh, I don't want to be made out to be somebody that I'm not. I'm not a bad person here. Girl. Oh, I could say nasty things. Things that I cannot say on Twitch because then I will get in trouble. Like, I've never been that, like, I don't think there's anything aired on TV to this day that's made me more angry than that clip. I'm glad it's on TV so people understand, and, like, I'm glad Zeke's okay with it. But, like, I don't think there's anything I've been more angry at on a program. Because, first of all, it's very real. It's not produced. Because they're literally out there fighting for their lives. And you can tell it's real. And, like, oh my god, it just made me so... I've never been that angry in my life when watching that. Like, saying you're... like, playing the victim and crying. Like, if you watch the whole episode, he cries until he gets eliminated. Fuck you! Ugh! Sorry. I can't. Hi, Maddie. I, like, literally can't. I knew this conversation would come up. It makes me so bitterly angry. It's actually insane. Five seconds. No, I think you missed the whole thing with us talking about some guy on Survivor that was horrible. Oh, it makes me so mad. There's hair in my face. I can't. Stop. 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 The white chick scene. Has everybody seen White Chicks? Do we need to have that conversation? Mia! Marshall! Guys! I, like, actually need you to leave the stream now to go watch it. Like, I won't be mad. Like, please. Some of it was filmed in your town? Really? True! True! Oh. Was, like, it all filmed in... What does the F stand for, Mia? Do you want to explain to chat? Do you want to explain? What does that stand for? You want to say it? Hey, Mia, say it. Hey, Mia, say it. Mia, say it. Hey, Mia, say the word. Hey, Mia, say the word. Mia, say it. Say it. Say it. What does the F stand for, Mia? Hey, Mia. Hey, Mia. I can't. I'm insane tonight. Cole, have you not seen it either? Am I old? I said hi, Maddie! So did House. Oh, not this one. It's over. You are old. Okay. Okay, Twink. I'm gonna start calling you a Twink, Mia. It's over for you. It's over. You're done. You're literally done. It's okay, Ava. We'll ride off into the sunset, bestie. And we'll watch movies with taste. We'll watch good shit. That good shit. Let's all take a deep breath. Also, I didn't realize how horny the Hellraiser movies are. Did y'all know that? They have like sex in every movie. Like rough sex. Like bazonga sex. They go crazy. They're making a movie? What? You're right, oh my god. I haven't seen it. I watched like a summarized video because I was just like not about to do that. No, we were talking about White Chicks. I said, has everybody seen White Chicks? And then 2 people said no, that I thought I could trust. And then I started talking about Hellraiser. Walks into the sunset with my cane. Yeah, the other day I did a stretch and I threw my back out. It's over for me. To have seen any movie. Well, true, but I have to sit you down and make you watch a movie with me. Fucking the Batman movie. Glad you finally watched that. Have you seen the trilogy? Dark Knight Rises, Dark Knight... whatever, the new gen ones? Marshall, please say yeah. Please, Marshall, please. Marshall. How can you be a silly memer on the internet and not see those movies? Where's Talos when I need him? Oh my god. Seriously? How have you not? The Bane sequence? If I took... Wait, no. If I took that mask off, would you... Hold on. If I took that... Nope. If I took that... Nope. I'm trying to do like a deep voice. If I took that mask off, would you die? It would be extremely painful. You're a big guy. For you. You don't know that? Oh, she's queen. So you saw that clip but didn't want to see the... Okay. Oh, she's beat. Oh, she's beat. Oh, let me. Yes! Yes! I told you that no, you've seen it. We've watched it, Marshall. We've watched at least one, because I remember showing... Who did I watch it with then? The Heath Ledger scene where the hospital actually explodes. We talked about it on stream. Yeah, that's insanity. And oh, speaking of insanity, thank you so much for the follow. Wait, look, it's a little guy. Wait, look, it's a little guy. I haven't even seen the first Joker. I will say I haven't seen that one. I apologize for that. I also... Who mentioned Twilight? I haven't seen Twilight. I saw the first one when I was little, but I haven't seen the rest. It's just never interested me. I think it's stupid. I think it's like actually for cringe babies. I'm like, girl, enough. It's like the equivalent to watching My Little Pony in my opinion. I can't. Like, what are you doing watching that? What is your end goal?
Impressive, I know. Very few can achieve a mastery of the sky. Yet I have made an art of creating an updraft that allows me to soar. It's considered to be quite the masterpiece of aerial techniques, even among the Rito. With proper utilization of my superior skills, I see no reason why we couldn't easily dispense with Ganon. Now then, my ability to explore the firmament is certainly of note. But let's not, pardon me for being so blunt, let's not forget the fact that I am the most skilled archer of all the Rito.
I would call, but I'm afraid that I would reach for the popcorn and like something would be in the popcorn that I would not be wanting.
You. All because you happen to have that little
something about
sword on your back.
Couple inches.
I mean, it's just asinine. Unless
not someone sticking their dick in the popcorn. Wrong. People do that though.
Just settle this one.
They'll hide their dick in the popcorn thing.
Where? Oh,
those people are weird.
How about up there? Oh, you must pardon me.
Thank you, Michaela. Welcome in.
You have no way of making it up to that divine beast on your own.
Not me and who. Stop.
Good luck sealing the darkness.
Who does that? People that do it in the theater, like Pee Wee Herman. Oh. Not Peenie Herman. You stop. My nose is so irritated. No, I've seen that movie. There's actually a Pee Wee Herman doll and a Pee Wee Herman of the Cherry from the Pee Wee Herman movies in my basement. And it is the scariest shit. I'm afraid that doll's gonna come to life and murder my ass. And a BL visual novel. What's a BL? Wait, he's running. Run. Oh, there's another. Oh, there's another. So true. Oh my god! All of them running. They're so cute. Oh, they're running to go to bed. Oh! That's so cute! That's adorable. Let me buy some arrows. Oh, this is the wait. Oh, it is the cold resistance set.
Hey.
We need this. Chicken Little is an incredible movie. I have trauma with Chicken Little because when I was in kindergarten, I got bullied into kids calling me Chicken Little and literally traumatizing me for life. So there's that.
Ah.
Is there a max on rupees in this game?
Oh. 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 Ah.
Guys, I can't wait for the new emotes. I want them now. Bro, can I buy this? Jesus. 1,000 for a wig? Girl, is it that serious? Chicken Little's dad is kind of sexy. I don't even remember. I've literally not seen that movie in forever because it actually, I'm scared of it. That and Nightmare Before Christmas. But we know why I have trauma with that. That's completely different trauma from the other one. Oh, calm down, Marshy. Why do I not have this? Oh god. Thank you. There's someone to buy arrows here. Where are they? Yeah. Unfortunately. Oh. The auto mod. Why did it auto mod that? Lol. Does this one have a wig on? Bitch has a full bang piece. This is Marshall's hair. Sorry. Where? Guys, where is the bow thing? I'm literally not crazy. Can I make this? Is that not what we know you for here? You got rep. You got rep around these parts. Wop wop. Wop wop. Wop wop. Green, Navi. Unless you've done green recently, but it, oh, do you green screen? Oh god, please don't kill me. Perfect. I love green. Can you die? Oh. Haha, noob. Slay! I love buying my jewelry from Shein. That's like my favorite place to shop jewelry, honestly. That's where these are from. That and Forever 21. Forever 21 has the best press-on nails I've ever used in my entire life. I need to shop. I need to like go to Forever 21 and just get a bunch of nails. They are the best press-on nails I've ever worn in my life. I wore press-ons for 12 hours one day. It was nuts. It was literally insane. Yeah, I saw it. Oh, I saw it. Oh, trust. Oh, what was that? Hello. Oh, goodbye. Tee-hee. Coco? Like Montrese? Oh. I'm like, what? Not redacted. Not redacted 101. With redacted Lynn Spears. At least want to get one Divine Beast done today. It's possible, I think. To the podcast? You're lying.
Yeah?
The edgy, sexy Birdman.
I don't know you. And I'm actually pretty busy here. You should probably go.
I'm gonna steal this. Get robbed. You're not busy. Ooh, who's she having on the pod? We will be indulging in the pod.
Not bad. Keep it up. That's it. On board. Perfect.
Hi, Joy. Not Chucky XCX. Please. Joy, I was lurking your stream the other day. I think you were playing the Corey and you were playing DBD. You looked really good. I loved I lurked. I'm a lurker. Yeah, of course. In the disky. What did he just want to give me? Oh, work. Sure. Oh, we're going up there? Oh, yeah, let's go. Sure. I've been loving the Corey. Me too. They actually sent me a headset. So I posted, so the 2K Next makers, they have a Discord, and I saw that some people were getting headsets with the Corey logo on them, and I posted literally last night that I was like, how do I get one? Like, I want to model one. Like, what's a girl got to do to get these? And they sent it in less than 24 hours. I was gagged. They gagged me a bit. Bye, Ava. Enjoy. Are you doing D&D? Enjoy your session if you're doing that. But I need to play another playthrough. I need to. Well, enjoy, Ava. Shut up, Mia. So true. What's a girl gotta do to get on the Capcom team? I want to be on one. I want to be on it so bad. Are you playing it on Steam PC? Maybe I could get something squared away for you, Giggles.
You got it.
What the? Wait, 1 minute. I'm not ready. Guys, calm down!
That's it.
R. There's a wrestler theme song that she walks out and it goes, Billy K, and then it goes, R. So funny. And she's Australian!
It's targeting us.
Yeah, I'm scared for my sanity if I were to do the PC Corey playthrough.
That's the way.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to get a PS5. I would love a PS5. I missed, I'm a fake. Flopasis.
One more.
Ooh, I forgot the boss for this one's a bitch. Ruh-roh, Raggy. Nice.
We did it.
I don't know. What if the divine beasts are good and we're just terrible people destroying property? Ever think of that? Really makes you think. Not the twink destroying property.
Well done, Link.
Wow.
That thing is history.
You mean Spooky Island? I'm not clapping, those are my ass cheeks. Sorry. Clapping my ass cheeks.
Bad news, Link. It looks like I got hit pretty good back there. I think I need to get back to the flight range. I just hope that I can make it back. You head down to Meadow. Good luck.
And don't fuck it up. He has opposable wings? How does that make sense? How does he do it? Opposable wings. So does that mean he can, you know? I forgot how annoying this is.
Well now, I've seen that face before.
Hi, Rivali.
I had a you're here to...
Oh!
If so, then the first...
Yeah. Skips all the dialogue.
That guidance stone has the information for the...
Oh. Wow. Wow, Maddie. Guidance stone. Like, I wonder, like, I wish my hair was this long. I don't think my hair is gonna grow longer than it is right now. I think it's stopped growing. Like my real hair. I think I should just get extensions.
You'll need to look closely. The terminals that you'll need to activate.
Not a bob.
Think you're up.
I've trimmed it so much. I like have to keep trimming it, and then it grows like an inch, and then it stops. Doesn't help that I hairspray my hair, so it's probably like dying. But I don't really have a choice now, do I? Wrong way. No, I haven't. Maybe I should. Oh, wow.
There are 4.
Yas, grenade. Go Go in. Go in. Yes. Yes. Puzzles are my forte. Just kidding, they're not. But I'm going to pretend like I'm smart. Fire the Yas grenade. There are 3 terminals remaining.
There are 3 terminals remaining.
I know. Do one of these open? I think you can take a shortcut. Nope. Other way. Yep, you can. Speedrun strat. Right here. GG easy. God, I'm so good at this game. Fuck yeah.
There are 2?
True Maddie spell. Hey, Red. I don't remember this puzzle. It has to do with this. I was on the right path, I think. You know what? Why can't I figure this out? So true though, like actually. Me too, when I like go to the store and people are like, I'm like, yes, so true. We in the temple. Oh. Temple, I say another prayer. Oh my god, why am I so stuck? Are you serious? We missed it? We're so fake. Oh, does it want me to... Wait, I had it. I had the solution. Oh my god, what the fuck? That's so weird. I don't know. Fall Guys is not, like, entertaining enough for me. Okay, I see what it wants me to do. I see you for the type of person you are. Wait. Didn't we do this at the beginning? I swear I did this. I'm not crazy. Anyways. This is Hebrew school? Yep. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiyasanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlikei sal Hanukkah. So true. I spelled. I just cursed you all. Are we living for Breath of the Wild? I forgot how much there is in this game. It's kind of insane. Hello? Hello? Perfect. Call that an easy clearing. Look at how I ate that. Cosmic, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in.
I want you to flap to it.
Not fap to it. Oh. 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 Oh no. I get cut up. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, work. Thank you. Let's get this even. I don't think I'm gonna be able to fight this guy, but I can sure try. Maybe first try? Oh my god, when someone gifts 20 subs when I do this first try, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Sub goal! I know, exactly, Telos. I've been tweeting about it. I just don't understand why they're not using their intellectual properties. Like, come on. It's so annoying. Oh, that's a lot of minutes added to the timer. Subathon. I still want to do a 24-hour, I just don't know when.
Good luck. That thing is one of Ganon's own, and it plays dirty. It defeated me 100
it plays
years
dirty?
ago, but only because I was winging it. I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but you must avenge me, Link.
I want the music to
His
turn
aim
up a
is
little
dead
bit.
on. Watch yourself.
Oh, Jesus. All right, maybe not first try. Okay, okay. Oh, I have no health items. Ha! Wow. That's actually funny. Oh my god! I actually wanted to do it first try. I didn't realize I didn't have any health items.
His aim is dead on. Watch yourself.
Oh, Jesus! Why is this already damaged? Come on, dude. I shot it twice, and it's like, damage. Just like the Joker. I have literally no idea where he is. Oh, I forgot there's a phase 2. Uh-oh. And he has an insta-kill. Oh my god, I forgot he has an insta-kill. Oh my god. It's really bad for
Watch
us.
your blind spot.
Oh my god, I literally forgot he has this insta-kill. I'm afraid I'm gonna fall off. Ah! Ah! I don't have anything to eat. Oh, but I ate that. Oh, look at how I ate that. Did you eat? Absolutely. Look at how she ate that. Fire the gas grenade. I feel like the burp has been stuck at 79 forever. Oh. It's not. I'm just imagining things. Hi, Peachy. How you doing? Oh, I want a donut
Well, I'll be
too.
plucked. You defeated
Plucked?
him, eh? Who would have thought?
Hello.
Well done. I suppose I should thank you now that my spirit is free. This returns Meadow back to its rightful owner. Don't preen yourself just for doing your job. I do suppose you've proven your value as a warrior worthy of my unique ability, the sacred skill that I have dubbed Revali's Gale.
I mean, you would let him hit it too. No? No one? Wow. Wow, guys.
It's now time to move on and start making preparations for Meadow's strike on Ganon. But only if you think you'll still need my help while you're fighting inside Hyrule Castle. Feel free to thank me now.
Huda, thank you so much for the follow.
Or, never mind, just go. Your job is far from finished, you know. The princess has been waiting an awfully long time.
But why would you do that, Mia? Do you notice you default to putting things on your shoulder? Like what? What else have I put on my shoulder? Because then he'll be back at 1. I don't know. Just to have them to note how much you have.
Meadow's sights are now set. You'll have a precise bead on Ganon from this vantage point. And when the time is right, give him everything you've got. Now we wait for that perfect moment. Meadow, we've been artfully patient for the last 100 years. I doubt you'll suffer a feather over a few more moments.
I should.
After all these years, I simply must admit the truth. Even without the power of flight, Link made his way to this divine beast and accomplished something that even I could not. Guess I was wrong about how lucky he would be. I hope that luck holds out, Link, for everyone's sake.
Bev! Alright. Well, that was easy. Alright, now time to get this tower. Tower of Terror. I want to go to Disney. Wants to hold hand and go to Disney. Let's go to Disney. Me breaking the set. True. Now that I know the Tower of Terror is at Disney, right? Right, everyone? Yeah, I didn't know that. Until now. Until after I bought my Universal tickets. I did go on a fun ride, though. I went on the Redacted Potter ride. That was fun. Which Disney? All of them. Every single one. I want to go to Epcot to drink. Then I want to go to... I want to drink around the world at Epcot. And then I want to go to Hollywood Studios the next day or whatever. Whatever order. Hollywood Studios to do Tower of Terror. And then I want to go to the one where they do the fireworks and all the shows. Magic Kingdom. And then I want to go to Animal Kingdom. Oh, not land. Well, for TwitchCon, if we go to TwitchCon, we'll probably go to land. Because I've never been, and I want to see the difference. Like, I'm intrigued. I never said we would. Oh God. Well, where is Disneyland? In California. LA. How do I pronounce your username? Can I say Twee? Well, what does... How long is Rivali's Gale gonna take to recharge? 5 minutes? I guess we're waiting. Because I, like, literally can't do this one without Rivali's Gale. Well, maybe I could. Well, welcome in. Well, yeah, because world is better. Ooh, a spill. Tabitha Tower. Oh, I shouldn't have ran. Uh-oh. Rat row. No, we got it. We're good. Ooh, that's the... Oh, that's not it. Never mind. Oh! That's the Great Fairy! Meef! Meef time! I don't know about Disney in Japan. Never been. Don't know anything about it. Bleh. I keep thinking this is my lipstick being smudged, but it's literally a blood stain. It's not real. Trigger warning, fake blood. Oh, it's not that cold, Link. Come on. Meef time. Oh, do we have enough money to awaken the Meef? Okay, Meef time. Boy. Oh, I have that for you. Ego. Meef time. MILF time. MILF time. MILF time. MILF time. Miska. Mickey Mouse. Gorgeous woman. I love women. Oh, her multicolored nails are so pretty. Wow. Nice. Goodbye, beautiful. I get in. There's 4 different ones around the map, I'm pretty sure. The next one's over here. Well, no, this is where this one was. So there's one here. I think there's one in each region. Yes, each religion has its own Meef. Meef translates to MILF. Did you know that? No, she's not in Kakariko Village. You all lie. She's not in it. She's outside of it in a... You have to go to war to find her. You literally have to go through the depths of the scary sand desert. Like, it's scary to find her. I gotta do all these dungeons that I haven't done, so. You guys are crazy. She's not in Kakariko Village. Oh, I'm thinking about Gerudo. My bad. What's Kakariko? No, she's not. Oh, yeah, she is. She's right here. I was thinking about Gerudo. Working his little booty. Silly twink. Oh. Easy mode. Oh my god. I gave myself a cut earlier and now the blood is like black. Maybe I should wash that. Excuse me. My sister was gonna get me Dunkin' Donuts earlier today, but she got me McDonald's instead. So I don't have caffeine in my system. I really wanted a coffee. Ugh. Oh my god. I just want to get these done. So I'm all caught up. Oh god, is this the most you can— oh my Jesus Christ. And there's a way to trick this if you just do this. And then you go, eh. Dang it. Watch. Pro strats! Damn it. Pro strats. Come on. Fucking dicks. Oh! Yes! A rim. Off the rim. Easy mode, easy mode, easy, 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 easy. This game's easy. Pro gamer! Oh, shut up. Shush. One cutscene. I don't need to see it. Skip. I want to play Monster Hunter Rise. I want to play it now. I can't even get to the DLC that I bought yesterday because I have to beat, like, the next 3 chapters. I'm like, okay. So true. I buy a $40 DLC and I can't even access it. But I wouldn't have to pay for it if I was a Capcom creator. So true. Make that a reality. Challenge. When I do a Cammy cosplay next stream, what then? Then they just have to give me Capcom creator. It would also help if I was playing a Capcom game, but looks around. Let's use this. Hello. You know you can do this. Nope. That you could. What was the DLC in Dark Souls? Which one? Yes. Okay. Oh my god, my nose is on fire right now. Oh my god. What is happening? Oh my god, it actually burns. What is happening? Stop. I do poppers to get rid of the pain. How do I ease the... Oh my god. Do you remember that performance of Lux Queen, Get Dusted, doing How Do I Ease the Pain? Ugh. Stan list. I miss it. They should somehow make a show. Like a live show. Like, tour with it. They should tour with it, right? Am I crazy? They both did really well on their season. I never even thought about that. They both made it to top whatever. I don't know why they didn't. Well, before, because I don't think they had enough money, but... I feel like they would have enough money to do it now. Oh my, it actually wants me to do the fucking, oh my god, die. Not the tutorial. I can't. Oh, Jesus. That very unnecessary tutorial. No, I timed it right. I'm a god. I'm a great gamer. Watch your mouth. I think there was a secret behind there. Oh my god! My legs! Ooh! My legs feel so heavy. Because all this ass. No, but actually, oh my god, my legs. When I do my makeup, I usually stand up and do my makeup. Isn't that crazy? I'm insane. I stand up for 2 hours and do my makeup. That's probably why I rush sometimes, because I'm like, my legs hurt. Let's go, girls. Does she need 300? I hope she doesn't need 300. $500? Uh-oh! I want to see another milk before I end stream. And we will. Well, I clearly have enough, but... Hi, Cams. Please, just let me look at this. God. Alright, meat time. Meat time, meat time. After doing gay things, what did you do? Did you do the do? I want to be gay. WTF. Ego. Oh, she's so me. What if I did makeup inspired by this? Like, I could wear my Marilyn hair. I gotta order elf ears. I lost my elf ears. I had them, but I lost them.
What? Oh.
Well, and with that, I am going to close out the stream. But, I think I'm gonna go online and look up some cool, sexy stuff to do a cosplay of that. I'll get the elf ears. If you want to donate, you can, to help the fund to get that cool stuff. You can go over to my tipping. Or if you want to buy me something to save me some money while I buy the stuff for the cosplay, you can go to my throne. Oh, my bad. Hold on. It's gift. Lol. But yeah, I'm gonna go eat some dinner because I'm hungry. I've been in drag since, I want to say, like 5 o'clock. Oh, it's actually pretty late. But I will be live again tomorrow around 9 p.m. I'm gonna go live with Elix and Trashly and Deer. We're gonna play some more 2K. Tiny Tina Wonderlands, sponsored by 2K. And on Saturday, I'm taking the day off because of the wrestling pay-per-view. That's one of the biggest of the year. And then on Sunday, I haven't decided. But you can follow my socials, NemesisLacroix. Everywhere else, I am Nemesis Network, which is only here. I'm everywhere else, I'm NemesisLacroix. I don't know why I said that. VODs will be uploaded. I will do that tonight. This VOD and the other VOD to YouTube if you want to watch or get any clips or replay or see anything you missed. I'll try to make chapters for the most part of what happens. I'll try my best. But yeah, I'm gonna go edit and send my packet of stuff to this video I filmed earlier. Hopefully it's good enough, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.